Hi, everyone. It's Lydia with the Oneness Junkie podcast and YouTube channel. And just like when I have any guest out there, I love talking to all the people that I get to interview. And today I'm especially excited to introduce you to Faye Griffith. Hi, Faye.
Hi, Lydia. Good to see you.
It's great to have you on the Oneness Junkie podcast. And as everyone who watches or listens to the show knows, that the criteria for being on the Oneness Junkie podcast is you can be anyone who's using your time and talents to make the world a better place. So today, that's what Faye's doing, and we're going to talk about it. So to get started, Faye, I want to get an idea for our audience of where you came from, your background that led you up to what we're going to be talking to today. So go ahead.
Okay. Um, I have been, I realize now, on a spiritual path for my entire life. I am a sociologist by training. I'm curious, and I basically have had a notion all my life that there was something more than what we now call 3D or the Matrix. And through the most difficult times in my life, I've always known that everything was going to be okay because of that knowing. So I struggled with depression for quite a number of years, and Spirit led me to work with a shamanic practitioner. And he was a trained counselor who was also initiated into Peruvian shamanism. And I think I worked with him for about 6 months. He worked on my energy body. And after that, I had no more depression. The depression was gone. I then studied with him and went to Peru for 3 summers and was initiated into Peruvian shamanism, which opened me up, of course, even more. And then Reiki came through. I'm a Reiki master. And finally, on my path, a number of years ago, I found bioquantum technology, this brilliant process that Jules Arness has brought through. And the work that the embodiment and cell ascension work that I've done with Jules has brought me to where I am now, which is establishing this platform for individuals who are living, working, and creating in 5D, which is the new world that we're moving into. So that's my background.
That's great. So we actually met and got connected from who you just mentioned, which was Jules. So thank you, Jules, for helping us find each other. And we had a chance to talk, and we're both interested in helping the world become aware of what is possible and what we can create as a part of the 5D. I don't know. Are we going to call that a matrix too? The 5D matrix?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I'd have to think about what the word matrix means. I think that it's 5D is a more expansive way of living, and is it's really a concept of living from the heart and wholeness and compassion. And what I see happening in the world is that individuals are starting to do that on their own. And as a sociologist, as people change, social structures change. And I think everybody would admit that the outside world seems to be cracking. And so individuals create social structures, and what I see coming is just much more grounded, whole, compassionate ways of living and being in the world.
Together. Because we all have to share this planet
exactly
together. And for anyone who's just like stumbling upon this podcast, when we say 5D, we're referencing dimensions.
Yes.
There are different dimensions, and it is stated that we are living in a third dimension here on Earth, and that there will be a new Earth, which is there's going to be a splitting where there's actually two Earths. And it's all based on your own mental construct of where you are focused on as to what direction of the world you'll be living in. And that's kind of true now in the 3D. Yes. We may have Iran at war, and if you're in Iran, you're in a war, but we're here in, Colorado or Washington, and we're not feeling the war. It's kind of like that. It's just wherever you are is what you experience.
Exactly.
Right? In simple terms.
In simple terms. Right.
Yeah.
I would say that there've always been people who are sensitive, right, to what's going on in the world. They're not living there, but they're feeling it. And I think that is also a consciousness that people are verbalizing and maybe struggling with, right? So how everything is local, right, to an extent. And
So let's move into what you're creating. Let's go back to, how did this get created from your mind? What were you wanting to birth, and what are you birthing? Because we're here to talk about what you're launching.
Right. I'm going to go back to the bioquantum work that Jules, that I've been involved with for 3 years. And I have been working on embodiment and consciousness raising, and I've always known that I wanted to get out in the world, to have a platform to express ideas. And I was in a retreat with Jules on 11/11 last year, and I realized that I have this passion and this gift for communication and bridging. And working internally, working with my DNA, I began to develop this concept of actually coming out in the world and having a voice and bringing other people together on a podcast, the thought is group settings, newsletters, to bring my voice out in the world and bring other people together around an expression of what we're doing and what we're creating and what we're seeing. So so that's how so the notion is that we're all connected now on the internet, and that I would start with a podcast and a summit where I would bring together 10 to 12 people, and we would have conversations about where they are and what they're doing. And it's very exciting what people are doing. And there's really no other way to find out in the context. And I also am aware that there will be a need in the future as people evolve to connect more, just like Lydia is doing, right? So that's what the platform is about. And I'm launching a summit next weekend of 12 brilliant people. We're going to have conversations and a roundtable on this notion of what they're doing, what they see. And most of the people on the podcast have been very successful in traditional professions and are kind of transforming themselves and their work to a level of cooperation and collaboration that hasn't been seen before. Yeah.
Can you give us, if you want to say their names, it's okay, it doesn't matter, but give us an idea of, so from what I understand, you're doing your on a certain day and time at a
Yes.
certain place, like I guess your YouTube channel, you're
Yes.
launching the
Yes.
interviews,
It'll be
the podcast.
interviews. Right. It'll be Saturday and Sunday.
What time is the launch first?
I think it's 9:00, and there will be 5 interviews or 6.
You mean in a row? Like are they
with
timed?
a few, yeah. And then Sunday there will be the roundtable will be at 3:00, and that will be an open discussion with an audience being able to ask questions.
How many people are on that panel in the live Q&A?
There will be 3 people, and I'll be the moderator.
Okay. And if somebody wants to, are you still accepting registrations for those who want to come into the event and be live?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Where do they go to register?
They go to 5dfiles.com, Faye at 5dfiles.com.
Oh, you mean they send you an email, or they go
register
at this point, form?
Yes, at this point.
Okay. So if they want to register, just send an email to Faye at 5dfiles.com. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So there's no form on your 5dfiles.com website?
There is.
But it's a contact form. So if someone wants to send you a contact and say, add me to the,
yes, exactly.
They can register there.
Yeah, they can. I will put them on the list.
Yeah, they can just tell you in a note that there's probably a contact open tap thing that says, I'd like to be invited to the open live Q&A discussion where you can ask the panelers questions live. Great. So regarding your interviews, do you want to give us some ideas of the type of people that you interviewed that you'll be launching on Saturday?
Well, I would like to mention the brilliant Lydia Smith.
Are you going to start with me?
I'm going to start with you, Lydia.
That's funny.
Wonderful woman with just an incredible business background, open heart, just so amazingly compassionate. So that's Lydia. Then I have another panelist.
Let me add something to that. I want to add that I have a story inside of me, and I have been waiting for the right timing and the right circumstances and the right person to, be the one to allow me to host that story. And when you asked me, I said yes, because I felt like the timing was right. And it's a story that's 35 years in the making. So thank you for inviting me to be a guest on your new podcast.
And thank you. Works both ways.
Yeah. Okay. So you have more people. Who else did you interview?
I interviewed another brilliant woman. She's a mechanical engineer who is beginning to work with women, primarily women who are, who are not, shall we say, not fulfilled in the corporate world. I interviewed a comedian. Actually,
was that funny? Did you laugh?
I know. Well, she's funny. I actually interviewed one woman she was a lawyer. She then she then trained to do stand-up comedy. She's a writer, and she's actually figuring out how to do comedy. She's getting into entertainment marketing. It's fascinating. It's a new model for marketing. Another woman who is a nurse, a trained nurse, very scientifically trained, but also very open and knows a lot about she's writing a play. She is trying to figure out how to transition from her nursing career into broader, more expanded tasks. She's got a lot going on, and she's very interesting. I have a man who has worked for many years as a consultant at doing DEI work in Canada, and all of a sudden is ready to move into working on the quantum body and helping people with cellular ascension. So I think the theme that I'm finding in all these interviews is these are really successful people in the matrix. Okay. They're also on a spiritual journey and on a path of consciousness raising. And that's where we are now. That, we're coming together, sharing our stories, and really changing the world.
And they all have a mission that they feel guided to be saying yes to.
That is key, Lydia. It's realizing as a human why you're here, what your mission is.
And then, you know what? Saying yes to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many of us are aware? Like you, in the beginning of your intro, you said you've always been aware.
Yes.
But now you're stepping in with a brave heart and courage into unknown territory and unknown waters.
Exactly.
And to have faith, to know that you will be guided every step of the way because you're following your pursuit.
Exactly. And it's all inside of us.
Yeah.
It's all inside of us to follow. And it takes a certain amount of life experience and courage, I think, to move like this, but also I think it's happening more and more on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you can merge your job, let's just call it a job, when you can merge your job or how you make a living with the work you feel like you were intended to do on this earth in the 3D world, then it's great. It's a great feeling. It's a great experience. And so it sounds like a lot of these people are just trying to collapse and merge those two things. They're living with their mission and their vision.
Right.
Yeah.
They're living with their vision and their mission, and their consciousness has been raised to the point where they will, and they are doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so here's an invitation for anyone who is wanting to be inspired. Maybe you're having a pull and you're having a desire to do that as well. Hearing the stories and the conversations of the people who are actively stepping onto that plank and taking the chance and the risk that it does take, having the courage, it could inspire you. So it could be a good summit, to participate in and to watch.
And also everyone is, well, not everyone. Some people are offering a free gift, which means that one of the women is a very sophisticated hand reader, a palmist, but she has an offering, just a simple offering. So you can listen and then you can, get more information in a gift that they might have to offer as well.
Yeah, there may be more than just listening.
Yeah. But I do think conversation and connection is really important. And we have this ability now to connect all over the world.
Globally.
Yeah. So let's take advantage of it.
Yeah. And in my work and my experience, I have met people from all over the world that are of a higher conscious mind, and they crave connection. They crave community. So this is a good way to get connected to more. Most of these people who you're going to be, hearing from and listening to on the 5D files will have social connection options. So people who you find someone you're going to resonate with, you can go search them on their social connections and go deeper with that person and get connected to them, and find community from whatever it is that you're resonating with from their share. Right. So is there anything else about how about the 5D? Okay. So the summit happens next weekend.
Yes.
What happens after the summit? Because you've been so focused on just getting through to the summit. Where does the 5D files go after the summit?
Yeah, after the summit, the plan is to start a weekly newsletter. I really want to share stories of, maybe little video clips and maybe some thoughts about what I'm seeing every day. I live in Washington, D.C., and I'm very plugged into what's going on in the world. However, I always look for the places where people are having compassion and doing amazing things. And I want to share those. I also want to I'll start after the summit interviewing maybe 1 and then 2 people a week who really have big audiences, right? I would, and maybe doing some roundtables online. The nurse that I interviewed knows a lot about what's going on with the bridge between science and spirituality and how psychotropics are being used to help people because there's so much anxiety and depression. We could do a whole, so it's going to be, it's going to take its form in interviews, in-depth interviews with people that have offers, and then the way that I want to communicate what I'm seeing that's going on in the world. Acts of kindness and compassion, I would say.
Demonstrations.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
When it's showing up.
And it is, believe it or not, Lydia, it is.
Yeah. That's where the Oneness Junkie podcast was created, to help people find that we have more things in common as human beings than we do differently. And so when we start to approach people and life and circumstances with more compassion, then we automatically make the world a better place. And so I like to say, when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. So that was a little bit about what we talked about on your podcast when you interviewed me, about how if everybody could just focus on their own inner work, then that would be all that is required, because then everybody would be doing their own bright, being their own bright light in their own great energetic, aura. Is there anything else about the 5D files that we should cover before we wrap up our interview?
Well, I would just like to hear from anybody who wants to come to the summit. I'm excited. It's been a challenging, exciting endeavor to get on this side of the world. I've always been a great consumer of information, and now I'm going out there.
Yes. And we love it. And we love that you're bringing your representation of the God spark that you are and showing up as you are. And I'm happy to highlight you and what you're doing in the world. And just thank you for being who you are and being the bright light that you are in the world and for creating the 5D files.
Well, thank you, Lydia. Thank you for the Oneness Junkie and for who you are. And we'll keep this conversation going.
We could just stay on here and keep love bombing each other. I don't think the listeners care to hear that. But anyway, thank you for coming. And I look forward to next weekend, which is, let's say the dates again. It's Saturday and Sunday, and it's July
18th and 19th.
Okay. And the big moment is the live Q&A where you can participate and come in, but it's 3 Eastern time.
3 p.m. Eastern Standard
Right,
Time.
which means 2 Central, 1 Mountain, and 12 Pacific if you're in the US. And of course, you can figure out if you're in the UK or wherever, get your time zone together and figure out when that is for you. All right. Well, we'll see you soon. Thank you so much, Faye, for being on the show.
Thank you, Lydia.
Bye-bye.
Bye.